Glass blowing is a very ancient art. It's based off of melted sand and added color. Start off, the blowpipes are heated with an open flame, then the clear glass is gathered from a day tank sitting at 2100 degrees, and from there the color is added. Now to add color you can use solid chunks of color or little chips of glass known as grit. Once the color is added, it is melted in using a furnace known as a glory hole, which is a reheating furnace. The reheating furnace runs at 2400 degrees and is powered by natural gas, so it's a much more aggressive heat than what the day tank is sitting at. Once color is added to the piece, a design can be set into the glass, and as the bubble is blown out, it will expand that design. Once the design is set into the glass blower uses what's called cherry wood blocks that have been soaking in water to round up the glass to give it an even wall thickness. Once the glass blower has the glass in a round shape, they will give it a small puff. This is to create a small bubble in the glass. It doesn't take much air to blow a bubble out into the glass as long as the glass is hot. As soon as the bubble is inserted into the glass blower needs to cool down the bubble. This is so that they can gather another layer of clear glass on top of it from the day tank to make the piece bigger. As soon as the glass blower has enough glass to create the final piece, they'll take it back to the bench and roll it in the cherry wood blocks to take some heat out of the glass. They will also use the marver table or a stainless steel plate to chill the bottom of the glass to create a thick layer on the bottom. Once the bottom has cooled down enough, the glass blower will blow into the pipe, expanding out the top of the piece, the area known as the shoulder, up near the blowpipe. This is to create a thinner layer of glass that will be able to stretch out later on. Another tool a glass blower can use is called a blow hose. This is an attachment that goes on the end of the blowpipe and will allow the glass blower to blow into the piece as it's rolling along the marver or in the blocks. This helps suck away heat from the bottom of the piece and expand out the shoulder. Before the bubble gets too large, the glass blower needs to insert a line known as a jack line right off the end of the blowpipe. This is where the glass blower will break the piece off the blowpipe later on to open up the top. Once the bubble is to the desired size of the glass blower, they'll heat the top half, also known as the shoulder, and they will use gravity and centrifugal force to change that shape into a vase shape, more of a cylinder. After stretching out the glass blower will blow back into the piece, expanding out the bottom half of the cylinder to create the desired shape. The top will be shaped later. Once the glass blower is happy with the bottom half of the piece, he or she will gather a small amount of glass onto what's known as a punty rod. This small gather of glass is known as a punty, which will be attached to the bottom of the piece. Once the punty is attached to the bottom of the piece, the jack line that was created earlier is slowly cooled down with the jack. A bump is given to the blowpipe, the piece will come off, and the next step is to get it back into the fire before it cools down too fast. Once the glass is heated to a point where it will move again, the glass blower will take the piece back to the bench and shape the top as he or she wants. After the glass blower has decided the piece is finished, they need to take off the blowpipe and put it into what is known as an annealer. An annealer is another large oven in which the glass will slowly cool down overnight. If the glass is left out in about 5 or 10 minutes, the piece will just crack and explode. The following morning, once the piece is cooled down, the glass blower will take the piece out of the annealer and then grind the bottom flat, removing any rough spots that might have been left from the process.